Hi, it's Stephen here at Class Act, and I'm just doing a quick follow-up video to the one I created the other day showing you the Izink inks. I want to show you what I did with the various backgrounds that I created with the Izink inks, and I think they turned out pretty good. So I created 6 cards using those backgrounds that I showed you in the last video, and I'm just going to go through each one very quickly. This particular one, if you remember, the background was done on photoglossy paper, and what I did was I took some of that paper, and besides making my background, I cut out this butterfly with it, and that's from Les Papillons set by Spellbinders. And the background butterfly comes from the Tim Holtz Sizzix die called Butterfly Duel. Then I used the scalloped oval from Spellbinders to cut out this title part, and I used one of the rubber stamps from Tim Holtz that I just got from Perspective, it's called, to create the Live Your Dream with Passion. I think that turned out pretty nice. The background cardstock is Stormy Sky, again from Tim Holtz's Distress Cardstock collection, and I double matted this using Black Soot Distress cardstock. So I think that turned out very nice. Another one using the photoglossy paper for the background with the Izink inks is this one, and I mounted it on Dusty Concord Distress cardstock, and I used for the title and for the image here Distress cardstock, The Scattered Straw. Now this particular stamp comes from the Class Act line called Madonna, as does the title. Every blade of grass has its angel. Let's read that correctly. And I popped this up with some pop dots just to raise it from the background and edged everything with Dusty Concord Distress ink. Another one that was done on the glossy type of paper, except this was the Yupo paper, the paper I told you that is actually a polymer. It's not actually paper at all, but same effect you can get with the photoglossy using the Izink inks. And this is the one where I let them drip down. The flower I created using the clear modeling film, and this I have demoed in a previous video, so you can look back for that. And I used the Izink mists on top of the flower because this is a clear plastic that you can mold when you add heat to it. So I just sprayed that over top. 2 colors, avocado, and I believe I used the blue that's in the Izink line as well. And also I used a permanent marker to just draw in. I followed the drip to make the stem and just did some little curlicue squiggles for the leaves here. And another one of the Class Act stamp sets, I used the word that was in that called Believe. So I think this one turned out very nice too, and this is a real dimensional effect here using this modeling film. And by the way, if you have not seen the modeling film, go back a few videos and I have a whole demo showing that. So then I decided to do something a little different. This was the one that the Izinks were used on the watercolor background. And so what I did was I took a page from a dictionary, and it was fairly thin. So what I did was I took a piece of cardstock, ran it through my Xyron, which gave it some ink. Most people are familiar, I think, with the Xyron, and glued to it the dictionary page. Then I ran it through the Vagabond and cut out another one of Tim Holtz's Sizzix dies called Tattered Florals. And in the center of this, I mounted it. I used the Paper Blossom Stylus kit for puffing up the petals, and I put in the dot in the center a dot of Christmas red stickles just to make it pop a little bit. Again, I used permanent markers here to create the stem, and I used another Tim Holtz saying from the Perspective line. I think that one turned out really nice. Oh, and I edged the petals with a little walnut stain as well, and I changed the color of the page using, I believe it was 3 colors, forest moss, mustard seed, and that might have been it. That might have been it, just to use the 2, and then a little bit of the walnut, as I said, around the edges. And by the way, the flower for this one comes from Heartfelt Creations. It's Ariana Blooms. I love that set. And then for something just a little bit different, again, we've got the background. This was the background I did with the Izink inks on cardstock, but in this one I rubber stamped another class act stamp called Typing Time onto a piece of acetate. And this piece I cut out of the same cardstock that I made here, and that's where I stamped the little saying. If you can see that. And if you notice, there's extra little shine on this. I went over all of this, all the black, with Wink of Stella clear, and I did the T at the beginning of this with the Wink of Stella as well. So something a little different. I like using acetate. The trick with acetate is when you glue it down, you've got to use a glue that's going to dry clear, and so you can't see my glue marks. And the background of this kind of hides that as well. I use the designer, the Art Glitter Designer Glue. Looks like this. One of the best glues I've ever used. Designer Dries Clear Adhesive. That's what it's called. It's excellent, and if you get one of these little metal tips to go over the top, you can really put it on very fine pieces. That's just a little aside. And the last card, which I think came out stunning, is the one that I put through the embossing folder, put the gesso on top, and used the blue and the Izink inks in the background. Well, I carried on that theme using the Izink blues on my white poinsettia. This is the Heartfelt Creations large sparkling poinsettia. I rubber stamped it with their stamp set, then cut it out with the dies, and I stamped it actually in blue, Starry Night by Palette. And by the way, the Palette ink pads, we have them in the store, and people seem to be afraid to look at these. They are excellent. I think I bought one of every color that we had in the store, and I'm really liking these. These are really nice ink. So that's what I stamped with. Then I cut it out using the matching dies. Used my Paper Blossom kit to puff it all up, and then I very lightly misted it with the blue Izink ink, as you can see here. Something a little different. I don't know if blue, there's such a thing as a blue poinsettia. I've never really seen one, but hey, who cares? I think it looks nice. And then, just to add a little bit more bling to it, I sprayed the flower, once it was assembled, with Glitz-On, which I make and we sell in the store, and many of you have bought it, and you know that Glitz-On allows glitter to stay put. It will not drop off, you see? No glitter. This will not come off. So I sprayed it with Glitz-On. I put some Twinkle Dust, the really fine glitter that we sell also in the store, over top of it, and gave it another coat of the Glitz-On and set it aside for about 20 minutes to dry, and then adhered it to the card. And I think that came out really nice. So, as you can see, Izink, I can't say enough about it. Love it. I just ordered a whole bunch more colors for myself and for the store. So these will be in the store for you to take a look at much up close and personal, I guess. So do come on in and take a look at this, and I don't think you'll be disappointed in this product. Bye for now.